Donald Trump just can't handle it. California Governor Gavin Newsom is so efficiently cleaning Donald Trump's clock that Trump's United States Attorney in the Central District of California, get this, called the Secret Service on California Governor Gavin Newsom. That's how much Newsom is living rent-free in Donald Trump's head. Let me show you what went down, and let me show you the powerful press conference that California Governor Gavin Newsom had in Los Angeles over the weekend, as the Trump regime was literally calling the Secret Service on Governor Newsom. So California Governor Gavin Newsom posted this. It was a repost of the White House imagining what the UFC fight's going to look like on the White House lawn. It's an AI rendering of a massive stadium on the White House lawn where, again, a UFC fight is going to take place pretty soon at the White House, to which Governor Newsom says, thank God they are focused on the priorities of all Americans. Yep, golden ballrooms that are 90,000 square feet, demolishing the Rose Garden and creating Club Rose Garden. Donald Trump gallivanting with the royal family in the United Kingdom, while Americans can't afford groceries and are worried that their health care is about to be taken away. Governor Newsom then posted this, and this is what triggered Donald Trump's regime to call the Secret Service on Governor Newsom. Newsom writes, Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today. You're welcome, America. Now, Governor Newsom was saying that because he was holding a press conference in Los Angeles where he was going to be signing legislation into law that would prevent ICE from wearing masks in California and numerous other measures to protect the people of California from Donald Trump's fascist regime. That's why Governor Newsom posted that. But then the acting United States attorney, so Trump's top attorney from the federal prosecutor from the Central District of California, this like young and unqualified guy who Trump has there, who's an ultra MAGA extremist, he goes, we have zero tolerance for direct or implicit threats against government officials. I've referred this matter to the Secret Service and requested a full threat assessment. To which the Secret Service then responds, in response to the statement of the United States Attorney Esley referral regarding the social media post directed at the Secret Service protectee Secretary Kristi Noem. The Secret Service writes, our field office is in receipt of the Department of Justice's communication to preserve operational integrity. We're not able to comment on specific protective intelligence matters. However, the U.S. Secret Service must vigorously investigate any situation or individual, regardless of position or status, that could pose or be perceived as posing a threat to any of our protectees, especially in a politically charged climate such as this. How utterly pathetic can you be? For the post that Governor Newsom made, you're calling the Secret Service on the governor of California? What weak, pathetic losers they are. That's one of these things for me. These people are just frickin' losers, all of them. Then Governor Newsom shows when Donald Trump posted back on March 10th, 2020, the following: going to be a bad day for crazy Bernie. To which Governor Newsom got the receipts from Donald Trump's 2020 post, and Governor Newsom goes, we have zero tolerance for direct or implicit threats against government officials. We've referred this matter to the Secret Service and requested a full threat assessment. But on a very serious note, Governor Newsom is responding to this report that reporters at the Pentagon have been told they can no longer report information which has not been approved by Pete Hegseth. Those who refuse will lose their press credentials. To which Governor Newsom writes, your freedom is being strangled. This is how authoritarianism starts. Don't look away. We also learned that the Bureau of Labor Statistics under the Trump regime, which just had its Bureau of Labor Statistic Commissioner fired by Donald Trump a month or so ago because Donald Trump didn't like the labor data, which was reported. Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is now postponing indefinitely key inflation data reports. They're not publishing what inflation is because they're trying to cover up Donald Trump's crashing economy. So Governor Newsom posts the pink dress lady from North Korea, and Newsom goes, the next jobs report brought to you by pink dress lady. Governor Newsom in all caps then goes, because of his horrific music, California will indefinitely suspend Kid Rock from performing in the Golden State. You're welcome. GCN. Governor Newsom posts this image of ICE agents wearing masks who are now banned by California law from wearing masks. Great job, California legislature. Great job, Governor Newsom. He writes, Governor Newsom just signed the law making California the first state in the nation to prohibit federal law enforcement officers, including ICE, from hiding their identities. He then posts this image. Governor Newsom writes, Happy weekend, Patriots. He then posts the following. The new laws I just enacted are a direct response to Donald Trump's lawless immigration raids and arrests in California. California is fighting to end this chaos by 1, requiring schools and public hospitals to limit access and implement privacy protocols to protect against Trump's immigration chaos. 2, schools are now required to work with families and personnel to develop notification protocols when immigration authorities are present on campus. 3, most federal officers are now banned from concealing their faces. 4, most law enforcement officers are now required to publicly display their agency and name or badge number. Then Governor Newsom took the stage, notwithstanding the Trump regime referring him to the Secret Service. And here's what Governor Newsom had to say. And to me, this is one of the most powerful messages I've heard anybody talk about what's going on in California, Los Angeles, across the country. But he talks about California in a way that, as someone who lives in California, gives me so much pride. Watch Governor Newsom yesterday in Los Angeles and one of the most powerful press conferences I've ever seen. Let's play it.
Accountable. And really the spirit, I think, of these 5 bills that I'll be signing here in a moment are about accountability. Accountability that is long overdue. But let me first try to set a scene. It's one very familiar to many of you, but not necessarily to some folks that may be watching from other parts of the country. We're here in Los Angeles, the most diverse city in the most diverse state, California, in the world's most diverse democracy. It is a point of pride. We are a majority-minority state, California. At our best, we don't tolerate that diversity. At our best, we celebrate that diversity. We're a universal state. 27% of Californians are foreign-born. You heard the superintendent talk about all the mixed status families. Our status is unique in the United States of America. It's what makes California great. It's what makes America great. And it's under assault by this administration. There's a word that you've never heard uttered from the President of the United States' lips, certainly not Stephen Miller, and that's pluralism. We practice pluralism. It's a deep point of pride. Those values are under assault to a degree we could have never imagined. For those of you here in Los Angeles, you deeply absorb this, you deeply understand this. You saw your streets militarized. You saw the President of the United States, who in his first term never sent the military anywhere, not overseas, nowhere. In his second term, he sent the United States Marines, active duty Marines, to the city of Los Angeles. He federalized 4,000 of our National Guard. We said at the time it was a preview of things to come. Folks thought that was hyperbolic. They thought we were overstating it. Ask the folks in Washington, D.C. Ask the folks other states like Illinois and what's about to happen in Memphis. We announced just a few weeks ago that we were standing up and pushing back as it relates to the rigging of elections. We were at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo, the sacred site where we were interning and busing the Japanese. That shameful part of our past. And what did the administration do? What did Stephen Miller do? What did Donald Trump do? They sent masked men to intimidate folks from walking in to that event. Masked men. Poor soul that happened to be in the area, guy delivering strawberries, was detained because he just happened to be in the area. Collateral damage. Disappeared. These masked men had no identification. These masked men did not provide any information, name, badge number, hidden from accountability, any transparency, any oversight. That's Trump's America, but it is not the America we've grown up in. And so we're pushing back against this. for so many of you in Los Angeles, we talk about authoritarianism. Some think we're being hyperbolic. Depends the lens you see the world. Which set of eyes? For someone like me, I may not be experiencing it, but for many folks you see behind me, they have experienced it.
And then Governor Newsom talks about the important legislation that he is signing into law, and he talks about how what the Trump regime is doing is like a bad sci-fi movie. We can't look away. He says we need to act with authority and, most importantly, with moral authority. Here, watch this.
The impact of these policies all across this city, our state, and nation are terrifying. It's like a dystopian sci-fi movie. Unmarked cars, people en masse, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights. And we have the right to stand up and push back. And that's what we're doing here today. This is a disgrace. This is an outrage, what we have allowed to happen in this country. And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're going to go out and you're going to do enforcement, provide an ID. Tell us which agency you represent. Provide us basic information that all local law enforcement is required to provide. Have the decency not to threaten people as they go to school, to go out in the parking lots proximate to these schools to create chill, packed attendance. We talked to these kids. They were saying, one of you said, I've got friends, they don't go on the metro anymore. It's a public space. So your superintendent had the decency, foresight, and leadership to provide transportation. That's Trump's America. Hospitals. You talk about health infrastructure. You talk about community health. People scared to death to even access a community clinic for preventative medicine, worried that somehow they're going to be turned in, or someone without identification, looking like anyone else with a mask on, may just jump out of a car and they may disappear. So I want to thank the legislative leaders for asserting themselves and providing me the privilege, the ability to sign these laws, pushing back at this moment. I thought Jon Stewart said it best. This is not about the pronoun police. This is about the secret police. We're not North Korea, Mr. President. We're not the Soviet Union. This is the United States of America. And I'm really proud of the state of California and our state of mind that we're pushing back against these authoritarian tendencies and actions of this administration. ICE is now the largest private police force in the United States of America. And I say private because increasingly it appears to many of us that they have sworn an oath to Donald Trump, not the Constitution. A private police force whose ranks are going to grow by some 10,000, dwarfing the FBI and DEA. Only comparable staffing and investments are military operations around the globe. That's what Congress, the supine leadership in Congress, provided, along with the supine members of the Supreme Court that have allowed racial profiling on the basis of accent, basis of location, and skin color. This is not America. And so we are pushing back firmly. We're pushing back using not just our formal authority, but perhaps the most important authority, and that's our moral authority. So thank you to the members of the legislature. Thank you to the authors of these bills. And it's my honor now to sign into law 4 pieces of legislation that go in effect immediately upon signature, and 1 on the masking that will formally go into effect January of 2026. With that, let's sign these. be
Right here. Sir.
okay. You're the second. All right.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe.